stadium lights, the free buzz before halftime. My heart racing like it's 4th and 5 on a Midwest Saturday night.
Welcome back to Mizzou Storytellers. I'm Dave Matter with Mizzou Athletics.
I'm Loretta Jones with Mizzou Athletics.
Yes, obviously.
It's been a goofy day. It's been a goofy day.
It has. And we have an outstanding guest today.
Arguably one of our coolest, like with
Yep.
one of the best
One of
stories,
my
kind of like
favorite people. Yeah.
like not to make it sound haphazard, but like just tripped into some of the coolest opportunities throughout his career.
Yep.
So
Yep. We were talking recently, and you had a great idea for this guest. I was like, yes, that's an awesome idea. Let's set it up. And then we got in the office on Monday, and I completely blanked on who we agreed on.
I was like, let's pod. And you're like, who are we gonna have?
And you're like, we talked about this. I
Yep.
was like, oh, of course we did. I was just testing you.
Yeah, I was very excited though.
Yes. Well, is he here? I think he's here.
He is.
Let's bring him on in.
All right.
He's a Trenton High School Bulldog. He's a Tiger. He's a Chief. He's a husband, father, grandfather, right?
True.
He's a retired coach with nothing better to do than fish and podcast. He's Andy Hill, the second longest serving assistant coach in Mizzou football history, and he's today's guest on Mizzou Storytellers.
Whew.
How about that?
That's quite an introduction and all very true.
All very
I
true.
think that's the longest one we've had so far.
The pride of Trenton.
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah.
Is I have to ask, is Trenton, are you guys rivals with Chillicothe? Is that your rival?
Yes, that was the historic rival. However, Chillicothe's kind of increased their population. Trenton's gone downhill.
Yeah.
So Trenton is a lesser class now than Chillicothe, and I'm not even sure that they get to play each other anymore.
Gosh.
But that was our rival growing up, who we hardly ever could beat.
I asked because my mother-in-law is from Chillicothe, very proud of Chillicothe roots. Chillicothe invented sliced bread, or they claim to, but I know that Trenton folks say that that's not true. I've heard that before.
Well, anything they say we disagree with, so
Okay.
it's probably true.
Okay, I borrowed that from our friend Joe Waljesper, a fellow Trenton native.
Yeah.
True that.
He
Well,
does
you-
not appreciate Chillicothe's history.
Well, you were going to ask if something was true. Or I thought you were going to say, is Andrew really your middle name?
It is.
Okay.
So my dad's name was Robert Peary with 2 E's, and my real name is Robert Andrew, which, by the way, is R-A-H, Mizzou Ra.
Oh, I
that.
love that.
So it kind of worked out. But so I didn't want to be Robert Jr., I guess, is what they say. I was always Andy
So
growing
you were
up.
always Andy.
Yep.
Okay.
I love you said that I didn't want to be, so that's what they told me.
Yeah,
So,
I was demanding when I was
Yes.
5.
It's like a Sean Weatherspoon. His name is Franklin.
Franklin Deshawn.
Yes, I've called him Franklin before, and he does not answer
And then
to
there's Lil Spoon. That's his
Oh.
son. His son's a junior. So
that. Well, we're already way off track.
sorry. Yes.
So-
Sorry. This is what we do.
So Andy was here at the last home game, Alabama game, and you hit Big Mo. What was that experience like?
It was good. I knew when they contacted me that they were getting towards the end of the barrel. They're
False.
Not true.
This is false.
Not true.
Not scraping the bottom, but getting close. But yeah, it was neat. My daughter and her husband got to come down, and a couple of my buddies were actually in town for the weekend. We did the Mizzou Alabama game Saturday and the Chiefs and Detroit Lions game on Sunday night.
Oh, wow.
Some guys I played with here, 5 of us. So that was pretty cool. And it's always neat to be back at Mizzou.
Yeah. And you were on those sidelines for, like I said, as long as anybody who's been an assistant coach here, except for what, Clay Cooper, I guess, is the one you were right behind.
Yeah, I don't know. He was a recruiting coordinator for
Yeah.
a long time, so I know he was in the 30 years. I was here 24, so
Yeah,
he was in
yeah.
the 30s some way.
So, but with all that experience and all the time you've spent here as a player and a coach, like what the field looks like right now, and obviously the structure is going to be finished next year, but just the atmosphere, the sound, how does it compare right now to the years you were here?
Well, we've had some good ones, playing and coaching,
Yeah.
obviously. And I think, the way that Coach Drink and the guys have got it going right now, it's very comparable. It's certainly exciting. All the students are certainly engaged. And it's a great atmosphere, and a few more points here and there, and they can be undefeated.
Yeah, absolutely. And it made me think, like, and we've had Coach Pinkel down there before for games, and he's hit Big Mo, but like what we're doing right now doesn't happen unless Coach Pinkel does what he does and you're part of that staff. And really that doesn't happen unless we have what Coach Smith did when you first joined the staff. So it's all, it's all related. And I think it's important not to lose sight of what came first, and when coaches proved they could do it here when people probably thought they couldn't for a long time.
I mean, obviously, what you're saying is that we are successful today because of Andy Hill.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't know about all that.
I
do
mean,
know
what's the common link?
Yes.
Yeah.
Bob Stanley, who was a longtime equipment guy, when Coach Pinkel got here, he saw Coach Pinkel operate for about 6 months or so.
Yeah.
And he said it takes an unreasonable person to do an unreasonable job, which was turn around. I think, Coach Smith, what you said was after 14 years we hadn't gone to a bowl, and Larry Smith was able to get us back to a bowl. And then when Coach Pinkel, Coach Pinkel goes on record saying that he would not have taken the job had Missouri not been to a bowl during Larry Smith's era. So because of all that, we had some success there in the 2007, 8, 9, 10, all that stuff. But it took some work getting there for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay.
Should we rewind?
Sure.
Back to the beginning. All right. So we talked about this. You grew up in Missouri, grew up in Trenton.
Yep.
What role did sports play for you as a kid?
Well, we were a sports family for sure, and a lot of my friends, we played the old tackle the guy at the ball out in the yard when you're 8, 9, 10 years old. So pretty much we did everything. We golfed in the morning, and we swam in the afternoon, played baseball in the summertime, and whatever was in season at that time, everybody kind of did it. I played basketball up till my freshman year. That was my favorite sport until I found out how good I was. And so then I wrestled one off-season winter time. I also ran indoor track. We had one of our high school coaches was really progressive, and he would take us down to Warrensburg, indoor track, and we ran indoor track my sophomore and senior year between football and golf season, and also we didn't have high school baseball, so I played baseball in the summer. So we pretty much did everything. My last year in high school, I did golf and track during the springtime, so that was entertaining. But it's something we did. All my friends did the same thing, so it was pretty easy growing up.
Mm-hmm. So at what point then are you playing well enough in football that you think you may have a shot to join the team here, even though as a walk-on initially?
Yeah, I mean, I was recruited by Division II schools.
Yeah.
William Jewell. My grandmother's still upset with me turning in her grave. I didn't go to William Jewell, a good Baptist boy like myself. But really growing up, Brad Perry was our quarterback at Trenton High School. And he was good enough to obtain a late scholarship here at Mizzou. And when Clay Cooper came up to Missouri, to Trenton, Missouri, to recruit Brad, I just kind of tagged along, and I said, "Hey, would you mind if I come down and check it out?" He said, "Oh, no, come on down." It made me feel good about it. And so I couldn't decide, and I always kind of felt like that growing up a Mizzou fan, my father went to school here, his brothers, a lot of my cousins all went to school here, so I thought, at least I wanted to try. So when I'm 63 like I am now, I would know if I could do it or not. So basically, because of Brad Perry, I was able to come down and do a walk-on visit, and they said, sure, come out for the team. They probably had 130 helmets, and I was probably number 129 or something like that when I showed up in 1980. But they had Coach Cooper and Coach Powers was the head coach. They let me come out. As a matter of fact, right behind me here on a Sunday morning in March of 1980, they had a bunch of coaches lined up here in the darkness of these hallways here in these offices, and Brad was throwing me passes to see if they really wanted to offer him or not. And so it was pretty cool, but that was probably illegal at the time, and nobody will get in trouble for it now.
So did the walk-on process work the same then that it does now? Did they have a massive walk-on tryout, and then they went from there?
Well, I didn't know when I showed up.
Yeah.
No, I think we had a freshman practices only, much like the NFL has rookie camps and things like that prior to 2 days. We had a 3-day freshman camp prior to the veterans showing up. And so there were a ton of guys, and there was, a matter of fact, I was telling you earlier, I didn't have a place to stay when I came down here, and I didn't know if I would be cut, make the team, what it would be, truthfully. So I had one of those, Army lockers in the trunk of my car, and I had 2 little bitty, satchel gym bags that I took up to Tiger Towers, which is where we stayed at the time. So I took those in there with me, not knowing if I was going to make the team. I thought you might be cut. I didn't have any clue what I was in for. Yes, we did have a massive. I'm guessing there's probably 125 guys on the team, something like that. So when I walked on, I really didn't know if I'd be here 2 days or 2 years or whatever it meant. And I got lucky enough to kind of stick through that. And fortunate for me, there was another walk-on guy who decided to quit during that first week or so that we were in the Tiger Towers, and so I was able to get a dorm spot because I had no place to live when I showed up in Columbia. So I was going to sleep in some of my buddies' floors until I figured out what was going on.
Well, and this was not long after they changed from having freshman ball and then sophomores through seniors on the team, right? This was only a few years after that.
Yeah, we had some JV games actually, and you in 1980 you could not redshirt your freshman year, and so you had to either count it and not play or play a little bit. So it was different because most guys, they would redshirt their sophomore year. They didn't play much, be on the scout team and all those things their freshman year. I kind of through transition, it was one of the hottest summers in the history of the United States. 1980, look it up. As what's the guy say? Google me. But but if you look it up, it was super hot, and I'd been working outside, like umpiring baseball games and fixing fields, and so I was able to kind of withstand any heat. And the guys were falling out right and left, going to get IVs in the hospital. So I kind of kept moving up the depth chart and actually played. I started 7th. I couldn't see the front of the stretch line when I showed up, and by the time we played our first game that year, I was actually 2nd on the depth chart and got to play. So it was pretty cool.
You're like, thanks, Dad.
And that was that Phil Bradley's senior year?
Yes.
So you caught the end of the Bradley Wilder
Yep.
years. I guess Howard was probably already gone.
Howard
Kellen Winslow was.
Howard was the same age.
Okay.
Kellen was 2 years older.
Okay.
But Howard was 1980, his senior year.
Okay, so there's a lot of star power
on
that team when you joined.
It's probably, if you match it up with draft choices and NFL stuff, Eric Wright, I mean, there's quite a few guys that were seniors and juniors that year. There were high draft picks and very successful NFL. In Phil Bradley's case, successful Major League Baseball career. So there were some studs on that team, and I was just kind of hanging on for dear life.
So, but at what point, obviously you said that freshmen couldn't redshirt, so you either just didn't play or played a little bit, and we know from research that you did play a little bit.
Yep.
At what point did you feel like you belonged? You talk about that being
About
a little
3
like
years later. I think really, I remember being out there. The only thing I really remember about my freshman year was I felt like I was helter-skelter trying to get out there and just try to go hit somebody and do something, But it was, I think the next year I started some games, and I actually redshirted in 1982. So I got here in 80, played, started most of the year in 81, and then we had a bunch of receivers that are all the same age. We kind of did a coin flip. And so I redshirted my 3rd year here, which was a depressing fact that it wasn't a very good team that year, but the simple fact is you don't want to play a couple years in redshirt.
Right.
But it happened to a couple of us, and it turned out that I got to play in 1984 and score a touchdown against Notre Dame, so that was kind of fun.
Yeah,
That's
not
very
bad.
cool.
Now, your first catch ever was a pretty good one, right?
Yeah. Actually, Kevin Potter, who played with us, he said, and I got my last catch, I got tackled on the 3-yard line against Kansas. So I got my first catch and my last catch would have been touchdown.
Yeah.
Over a 5-year period. But, it was pretty neat. Mike Hyde, who's still my good friend to this day, we do fishing things together, and he was here a couple weeks ago for the Alabama game. He threw the touchdown. It's for his first touchdown pass.
Wow.
And my first touchdown catch here at Mizzou.
Against Illinois in a
Illinois.
rout.
Yeah.
In a rout.
We owned them.
52-7.
Yeah.
How about that? I had to look it up. I don't remember that.
I'm like,
but
okay.
pretty good. So when did you go on scholarship then? Right
after the first semester.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
So they must have had a bunch of extra ones left over. But
Stop.
Do you remember getting the call though, or was it like dramatic like they show now when you put them on?
No, it was
record
not
them and
dramatic.
put them on
It's like
social
they call you in
media.
the office and say, hey, you're on scholarship. Okay, thanks. That's really what it was. I mean, I called home and said, hey, Dad, I'm on scholarship. It was like, okay, sounds good.
Wow.
It's not like it is today.
Yeah.
They throw you a football with an envelope on it, or they have you up on the big screen or something like that. It was just like they call you in the office and tell you you're going on.
Oh, we should recreate it then sometime.
We will have to do that for social media.
magic,
That would be amazing.
It would be great. Yeah.
The shock.
We'll get those guys back together. Be like,
Yeah.
hey, help us. Because you mentioned earlier that Alabama game. There were a tremendous amount of guys that were here from when you played, like in your class and within a year or two.
Yep.
Either way, that was so cool.
Yeah, there's a bunch of great. I mean, really lifelong friends from the college days at Mizzou, and quality people above us and below us that we're still keep in contact with and do a lot of things with these days.
Yeah, a lot of fishing.
Yeah, a lot of fishing.
I have like every Mizzou media guide in my office, and I was looking through them from your years here, and like we got to call in Bob Brendel here, man. Some of the descriptions of Andy, it's like every year they had to find a new way to say that you were small.
Yes.
Diminutive.
I mean, well, the first
Small-
year they literally
smallish. So that's not small. Smallish walk on. Scored a touchdown on his first collegiate catch, and then by 83, I think you advanced to.
Well, you had a photo in there.
You had a photo, which is great. Okay, this is not good filler here. Here they change it to always mentioning the walk, tough and motivated.
Tough and motivated.
So he went from smallish to tough and motivated. A thorough knowledge of the system, which is always good.
He's not a real good player, but we put him out there.
Yep.
Anyway.
And that summer you upgraded your speed to 4.55 in the 40.
Okay.
Way to go.
Summer of 83 was a big one.
It was a great
Well,
year.
he, you know what? He was motivated because he had to redshirt the year
He
before.
did. Yeah.
So that's
he
probably-
was
that's probably
he was
why the
tough and
description.
motivated to get back on the field.
And to finish strong. Yeah.
Well, it's funny too because whenever you do redshirt, or you kind of lose some confidence in your skills or whatever it is, And so the very first game in '83, we played Illinois also,
Yeah.
and I scored a touchdown against those guys.
There you
So
go.
that was Illinois. We just kept. We played them like 11 games a
Oh,
year.
no kidding.
12 games
Yeah,
a year.
Illinois does not like Andy Hill.
So after college, then you had a little cup of coffee in pro football.
Well, tried out with both the Chiefs and got cut on the last cut. That was in. Now they have one major cut at the end
Right.
of camp. Back then, it was cut every Monday after every preseason game.
Okay.
So you'd be walking with your breakfast tray, and that you knew the guy who was cutting everybody be tapping on the shoulder and
Oh,
say,
no.
"Bring your playbook," which is now "Bring your iPad." But
Right.
you'd try not to make eye contact with the guy. And I remember, like after the preseason game number 2 in Kansas City, the guy was looking right at me, staring me down, and I was walking. He goes, "Hi, Andy." I'm like, "Oh," I mean, just like it was just. I thought I was getting cut, but yeah, I got cut on the last cut there. Then tried out in Canada, got cut on the last cut up in '86, I believe, because they were building for the Olympics in Calgary,
okay.
which was pretty cool, pretty neat to go up there. But it was they had a guy kind of like me. They only had a restriction on Americans playing in Canada and whatnot. But so I was very fortunate to get to try out for my hometown Chiefs. I had a choice between going to Seattle, Tampa Bay, and the Chiefs, and we had 12 rounds. They passed me all the way through that, and I still was able to make it the last cut, which is
Yeah.
kind of cool.
Man, that's so cool.
Well, you would come back eventually. So
Yeah.
You good ending to that story. So you didn't go into coaching right away. What else did you do?
Yeah, so I worked. My dad would accuse me of taking a job every year and then quitting right during quail season at the end of the year, November, December, which is not true, but kind of true. But yeah, so I worked. I actually worked here for a year. Joe Consiglione brought me back here. Did all kinds of. I was driving the helmet cart for, Mizzou events. I was putting stakes and tents out here, doing all kinds of stuff, kind of group ticket sales, all kinds of things. I really worked at a bank in Trenton. I opened an Edward Jones office in Brookfield, Missouri.
Oh wow.
Did that that was kind of the finale of before I got into coaching. I didn't get into coaching until I was 30.
Yeah.
My wife calls it the ultimate bait and switch in the sense that I was going down and seeing John Sunvold in Miami playing golf and having a big time. Then I got into coaching, and she's like, "I'll never see you again," type thing. So, we got married in the summer of '92, got into coaching in the fall of '92. And Sam Pittman, who was just the guy released at Arkansas, actually hired me at Hutch Junior College for my first real job in coaching. I was there for 4 years and got back here to Missouri in 1996.
Yeah. And now you were the head coach at Hutch then after Sam?
Yeah, I was assistant for 2 years and head coach for 2 years.
Yeah. What was that experience like? I mean, you go from playing and not doing football for a while, not too long later, you're a head coach.
It was good. And I will say, because you had to do everything. I mean, you're recruiting and trying to get your guys recruited, but you're doing laundry, you're doing everything as a glorified high school coach, but you still have to recruit and do all the stuff you're doing at junior college level. It was really good because he got experience recruiting. And really, at the time in Kansas, the Jayhawk Conference, which is tough to say the name, right? But,
Yeah, that's all right.
but in Kansas, they had 8 schools, and every school had 55 guys on the roster. Only 10 guys could be from out of state. So you recruited the 45 guys on your roster from the state of Kansas were recruited very heavily.
Yeah.
And so there were some good coaches that were recruiting and you're recruiting against, so you got good experience doing that. And then when it got to Mizzou, it just kind of carried over because it was I was lucky enough. I brought, when I was at Hutch, I would Larry Smith had the team camp going on, the
Yeah.
Larry Smith football camp, and you couldn't bring your own high school. So if you Chillicothe High School couldn't bring their own pads here, I brought a U-Haul full of pads and helmets, so they had to rent those for an extra $5 or whatever it was. And so I brought that every year, so Coach Smith could kind of see me coach. I would always coach the Renegade team. A bunch of individuals showed up. So I was fortunate enough to kind of be in front of him. Then Eric Wright was the receivers coach.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I was on a trip to Canada to go fishing when Eric resigned, like the 1st of July. I'd already been to summer camp in the middle of June, July of '96. I'm on the last dock that has a payphone, trying to get a hold of Coach Smith to set something up. And we'd taken 2 cars with us to Canada. And he said, hey, can you be here? This is like, say, a Friday. Can you be here Tuesday for an interview? And we're in the middle of Canada. Wow. I said, you betcha. So my brother and I said, we were on a float plane. Send a plane in early, okay? I was, again, from Hutch, met my dad and my brother and all the guys went fishing. We drove from Trenton up there. We flew out early. We about ran out of gas in the middle of Canada on Canada Day, July 1st. Got back, drove directly to Columbia, bought a suit at Dillard's. John Sunvold's wife ironed my shirt, and I went for my interview with Larry Smith.
Wow. Well, it must have gone okay.
Wow.
Turned out all right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tam Sunvold.
I mean, to take it back just a moment, though, what was the driving factor to get into coaching then? Like, were you doing any kind of high school or kids coaching? Like, what were you? It just seems like a lot to jump straight from a bunch of, how you described it, 1-year jobs.
Yeah.
Into a lifetime profession.
Yeah, it was, people always, Jim Donnan, who was a coach here, ended up being a coach at Georgia, he always said you should go into coaching. And a lot of people said you should be into coaching. And I thought, I don't want to have my life affected by 18-year-olds, right?
Yeah.
Livelihood. So I didn't, but I figured out by doing the Edward Jones job that it was not competitive.
Okay.
Money was a factor, and really you did it for the money, and it was not a motivating factor enough for me. I was like the camaraderie of a locker room, the competition, certainly. And so I just said, I've taken a swing at this stuff. Let's go do something that we hopefully love to do, and it worked out okay.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
So you're coaching receivers under Coach Smith. Didn't throw the ball a whole lot some of those years, but
No, but
guys could block. Those guys could block.
Hind end off, I'll tell you.
Yeah. What were those years like? I mean, you got to be a part of kind of it didn't last very long, but it was a renaissance. I mean, that's when I was in college. It was awesome to see Mizzou matter again.
Yeah, well, we had a bunch of, we were, with Corby Jones
Yeah.
and Brock Olivo and Devin West and Ernest Blackwell and Ron Janes and offensive line guys. You had 3 guys from Brookfield, Missouri. There was a Missouri feel to the whole thing, but they were very talented. And one guy, Randy Hudson, used to be assistant equipment manager here for the longest time. And he likened this to being a big chained elephant who was chained to a tree when you're a baby, but you didn't know how much strength you really needed to break off the chains. And so that group of people were able to overcome. I remember that year we were 3-3 after getting beat and get walloped at Kansas State, like 41-11. I got a good story about that with Corby, but so we decided we had a kind of a players meeting and went with everything, and we won 4 of the last 5 games. It was a kick 6 that Nebraska scored. That was the only game we lost those last 5 games of the year. But we went and won. Our 6th win was at Colorado.
Yeah.
And we had like 40 or 41 minutes of possession time in a 60-minute game, and it was really a dominating run-oriented offense that our guys took pride in. And Harry Heastand, Andy Moore, those guys were great coaches. And so it was a great, like you said, a renaissance, but also it was just a great feeling to be able to get back to a bowl game. And that was 97 and went to a bowl in 98. All those things were real positive, and it was uplifting to be part of that.
Yeah. I remember Brock sat in that chair a year and a half ago or so. I mean, he got emotional. He always gets emotional. Yeah. But thinking about that flight back from Colorado.
It was awesome. I mean, it was such – I mean, when you're taking a knee or whatever, at the very end of the game, you're like – we did it, and I can feel Brock's love for that.
Yeah, what a time. Okay, so then, like we said, that it didn't last, but you lasted, and were you the interim head coach after Coach Smith got let go? Or
No.
you're here though still?
Yeah, I would never forget. We were at the so the incoming coach, Gary Pinkel, was
Yeah.
interviewing all
Heard
the
of him.
assistant coaches.
Yeah.
So you get, go down, and we were all down in the equipment room. So you kind of congregate. It's your turn to go. And guy would walk down, Dave Tobe being one of them.
Yeah.
Walked down, walked back 5 minutes later. He's not hiring anybody. So your turn's coming. He didn't hire anybody. So I thought the same thing would be true. I go down, walk down all the way down to Coach Pinkel's office, and he said, I got a question for you. I said, yeah. He goes, why do we only have one defensive back on scholarship? I'm like, and in my mind, I knew all the reasons why, but I didn't want to hear any of those. So I said, well, there's no good reason why. But and so he asked me, he said, if I talk to some guys, who would say something good about you? So I gave him a couple high school coaches and, whoever else I could think of that would be positive towards me, maybe my parents, maybe. And so
My
but
wife,
yeah, so a couple
maybe.
days later, he called me up and said, "You want to be a coach on the staff?" And I was lucky enough to be retained.
Yeah.
Wow.
So then what was – he's a different guy than Larry, but what was that like early on? Did you feel like, hey, this could get turned around here? You can't predict the future, but at the levels that it did?
Right.
Like Bob Stanley said, it was unreasonable for the first couple of years, and so I was new to the staff. And there's some words for that and letters for that make you say, but first couple of years were difficult because A, we weren't winning, and B, I was a new dude, in my own place, and so that was.
And everyone
an
else
adjustment.
came with Gary.
Yes,
So
So
that-
it
yeah,
was.
that
It
had to
wasn't
be-
like a patchwork staff. It was
No.
all
No,
Toledo.
That had
guys.
to be really uncomfortable. You're like,
was-
you've
th-
been here the
those are
longest.
good friends. Those guys became good friends over time, but
Yeah.
it was a difficult period because the way Coach Smith did it was way different than Coach Pinkel was going to try to do it, and the demand on just little things like summer jobs. I was in charge of summer jobs. I'm like, I don't really care about being in charge of 40 guys getting summer jobs or whatever. So some duties that were handed to me just because it was kind of fell to the guy who was, you've been here, all the people, or you can run the clinic, you can do all these things.
Right.
So the first 5 years were probably a pain in the butt for me personally, but you just grind things out and adjust as you go.
Yeah.
Do you feel like he was testing you to see if you really wanted to
Yeah,
stick
I
around?
think he was testing everybody, but I was getting a particular test, I'm sure. And but you just keep battling. It's kind of walking on. You dig in and put your face down and get to work.
All right. So wide receivers coach for quite a while, and then you transitioned into a quarterbacks coach role.
Yep.
And then
That was like I did receivers and I did tight ends and receivers for a few years as well. So I
Okay.
had all those guys, Michael Agnew and some guys. I
Yeah.
missed kind of right after Chase Kaufman and Rucker left. We kind of readjusted the staff, and so I was in charge of those guys, which was good. Those talented players, Andrew Jones and Michael Agnew. And then after that, it was receivers coach for a couple years, quarterback coach for a couple years. Then when Coach Odom took over, I was back to receivers because we were so bad on offense in 2015 that it was kind of hard to describe that you're still a quarterback coach. So we brought in Heupel, and I was back to receivers. I did it for a couple years in special teams to finish up.
I mean, you just mentioned it there, something that he and I actually talked about a while ago, how rare it is for an assistant coach. You coached for 3 separate head coaches
Yep.
at the same institution.
Yeah.
Like and maybe I'm just not well versed enough in college football to know that doesn't happen, right?
No, I mean, I was very fortunate, no doubt. I mean, I was very lucky to be able to do those many coaches, and also we won at the right time for, Coach Smith lost, but he was a winner. Coach Pinkel was a winner all the way through it, and then even with Barry Odom's staff, we were winning football games. Even coming up 500 and bowl eligible our last year. But I was very fortunate. I mean, I had recruited some good players along the way. There's a lot of good kids from Kansas
You had a
City.
few that were kind of okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you got to be able to. I think the guys I coached, the very talented kids. I mean, you talk about some of the best we've ever had here at Mizzou. So I was, it's really about the players, right? So
Yeah.
I was just trying to keep them in the bumpers, try to keep them down the lane there.
Yeah.
And then recruiting also was a big factor, I'm sure, in being able to keep the job.
When we had that run then in 07, 08 with all those receivers that went on to, great careers, how did you, I probably asked you this question at the time, like, how do you keep them happy? How do you keep them bought in when their job is to catch the ball and be the stars? And they all could have probably had better numbers than they did had
Yeah.
they been the only guy.
Right,
But
there
you
was
had
so many
Macklin, you had
options.
Denario, you had
Yeah.
Tommy Saunders, you had you know,
Rucker
and Kaufman.
Yeah. Well, it's real simple. Those guys are just good people.
Yeah.
I mean, they were in it for their success, but really
Will
they were in
Franklin,
it for
yeah.
team success,
Yeah.
and they all understood. I mean, they knew that the crazy thing was myself, David Yost, Dave Christensen. We had those guys. It was kind of like we knew the play. We put the formation in second. So because we could, do a shell game of let's put Macklin here and Kaufman here and Rucker here and Denario and Will Franklin. Let's put these guys. So we would move them around. It was very difficult to defend us because we could keep moving dudes around. They all were smart, very competitive, and great people. So it was easy for those guys to be able to adjust. And so we were as flexible as probably any school in the country as far as moving guys and putting them in different positions. And it could be 5 wideouts, and a couple of those guys were tight ends. It could be all 5 wideouts. We were just very flexible and smart. And, of course, you have Chase Daniel delivering the ball. So, there was times, I'm sure Coach Pinkel has probably said it to a bunch of people, but there were Tuesday practices, which are main heavy practices in college football, where the ball never touched the ground.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking 7-on-7 team stuff. Chase throwing it, those guys catching it. I mean, it was a high precision team for sure.
Yeah, and you're right about the personalities. I mean, there's no divas on the
No,
team. Could have
those are
been,
all just great human beings.
but not the type
Well,
that could
usually
derail
they
a locker
come back,
room.
and it's important to them to
Oh, yeah.
they come back here and they see, they're waving, they're beating the drum, they're doing all that stuff because of the quality people they are.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, so then a new kind of lease on a coaching life in Kansas City. Tell us how that went, and you think maybe this is? Did you ever think this is the end of the road for coaching?
Oh yeah.
After
yeah.
2019,
Sure.
and then instead you go to it kind of coincided with your arrival. I know they had won one Super Bowl, but it became a dynasty then when Andy
Right?
Hill shows up.
That's what I'm saying. Success equals Andy Hill.
That's
Yeah.
right. So how did that happen?
Well, that's pretty much true, I'm sure. No, the new coach did not keep me at Missouri,
Yeah.
and so I was,
Which was foreign to you.
very foreign, very different.
Fourth time's not a
right.
charm.
Disheartening for sure, but at the same time, I was able to kind of figure out that there was a couple months there where I figured out that retirement wouldn't be so bad after
Yeah.
all. But the truth is, I was able to possibly 24 years is good. 25 years for retirement was a threshold.
Yeah.
And so Jim Sturk, who was the athletic director at the time, was kind enough. He was going to keep me on. I was going to work like in Tiger Scholarship Fund. Kind of when my coaching contract ran out. I think it was maybe April, something like
Yeah.
that. So I was kind of, hanging out and walking the dog and going hunting and doing cool stuff in December, January, and through the Super Bowl that year. The Chiefs won their first Super Bowl in 50 years. And I always have kept in contact with Dave Tobe and would see Coach Reid. I'd go over and visit when I was recruiting in Kansas City. It was some regularity.
Yeah.
So the position that Brock Levo once held was held by a guy by the name of Rod Wilson, who got the linebacker job at South Carolina around President's Day in February of 2020. And so Dave Tobe, I called him up. He said, "Hey, the guy left." I said, "I would really like to have that job." He said, "You don't want this job. This is kind of like, paperwork and stuff like that, computer stuff." I said, No, I can do fundraising, but I prefer to coach with the Super Bowl champions, please. And so he was off vacation, and we were kind of doing some stuff in Florida and came back. And so we met over his office, and I walked in, and he said, "I let you come over here to tell you do not want this job." Sorry about pounding the table, but and I said, "Well, I drove over here to show you that I want this job." So we kind of went back and forth, and then the combine was coming up thereabouts, and so Coach Reid kind of evaluated things throughout the combine about the next week, and so I was working out about 4 times a day and hoping, crossing my fingers and saying my prayers, and so after the combine, right at the 1st of March, right before COVID hit, I got hired to the Chiefs, so it was pretty cool.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And so, what was the job like on a day to day?
Very good. I mean, Coach Reid is exactly what you see as far as dealing with people and the kind of person he is. Very smart. Very just. It was a position where you are basically you're a professional, do your job. My job was assisting Coach Tobe and doing a lot. I was doing kind of preparation for knowing the personnel of teams we were playing, special teams wise, and so I spent a lot of time, say, Monday and Tuesday. I would prepare for I would give a presentation to the guys in the special teams meeting, about 15 minutes long, of their base core personnel that they would have, what they do well, what they do poorly, what we can take advantage of, whatever it might be. Coach Tobe would pretty much run the meetings at that point the rest of the week. So once Wednesday's practice, I would start on the very next opponent, so 10 days away, and start breaking down video and start getting ready for those guys. So I was always on Saturdays, I kind of had to go back and retrain my brain who we're playing this week. And but it was awesome. I mean, it was you spend a lot of time in college coaching, worrying about who's going to study hall and who's going to meetings and class and who's doing all these things and recruiting, and you have your phone attached to your ear in the off season. The NFL is, if the guy's not going to cooperate, you can walk right by my office and go to the personnel people and bring your iPad because you won't be there that long.
Yeah.
And so, and the truth is, when you have a quality leader all the way from Clark Hutt, Brett Veach, Coach Reid, then you have quality people like Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce and those kind of guys leading your team. There's not, they could take a chance on a guy who is maybe suspect character-wise, whatever it might be, that he would fall into line with how we do things at the Chiefs. And so it was it was a great crescendo for my career, and most of my friends think I'm an idiot for trying to retire. And whenever, the Chiefs will hopefully go back to again the Super Bowl this year and win another ring, which will be awesome. But, yeah, I told my family we'd take a family vote after every NFL season.
Yeah.
And it was like, are you crazy? Go back. Seven, and my wife got 2 votes. And so my brother would vote. So it was always, and my son-in-law got to vote. So it was always 7-0, go back to Kansas City, 7-0, go back to Kansas City. Like 2 years ago, I got my daughter to vote for me to retire, 6-1. But after, I told the family during the vote last year, I said, hey, listen, we've done it. Other than being the head coach of the Chiefs, there's not much different because Coach Reid will let you coach. Coach Tobe, I was able to coach those guys and have relationships with all the players, which is very awesome, obviously. But, you did the pinnacle of your coaching career is to win a Super Bowl, and I just wanted to go to one, let alone coach in one and win a couple rings. And so I wanted to be able to retire and do stuff with my family, and while I still had mobility, and I got a granddaughter and all those things that we can go see her do everything.
Yeah. That's so cool.
So what was the vote this last time? Yeah. Was it unanimous?
It was Coach Hill using the veto vote. It was not unanimous. No, it was. Matter of fact, they're like when Travis Kelce got engaged to Taylor Swift. My daughter said, "Are you crazy? Go back so we can get invited to the wedding."
That's what I was thinking. That's good.
So yeah, so it was. Those guys make you feel special.
Yeah.
And do you think you'll get invited to the wedding?
I don't think so.
Oh man. Well, send a card anyway.
Yeah, that's right. I'll send a $20 gift card to Andy's.
Yeah.
So you're always so gracious, and you bring your Super Bowl rings around and you show everybody, and they're some of the coolest things I've ever seen. Second only to Dave Matter's Cotton Bowl ring.
Stop.
So
The Super Bowl ring is bigger. It's much bigger.
what is that experience like? Like, what if you could describe the Super Bowl to somebody who has no idea? Like, what is it like to be there? Because it's an experience, right? I mean, it's not for you guys. It's not just the day of the game.
Yeah.
Like, what is that like?
Well, we went to several bowl games when I was here, so you go for a whole week,
Right.
and you get police escorts and you do your stuff like that. But with the Super Bowl, it's a little bit different, obviously. So my first year we played Tampa Bay during COVID, so it was just like an away game. You flew in the night before. We lost the game, unfortunately. People were on the way to the airport. I was sitting right next to a window on the bus. I was on bus 2, and somebody had a Tampa Bay Bucks flag and cobwebbed my window as we were leaving to go to the airport.
Wow.
But so it wasn't much of a Super Bowl experience because we lost. I thought, well, we beat them handily during the season.
Right.
Tom Brady. So we didn't win that one. But the next time we went was out in Arizona, and you're there for the whole week, and we have ex-Navy SEALs on the buses going to practice, and You know, they have snipers up. We were practicing at Arizona State, and they got snipers up in the Camelback Mountains or whatever mountains are close by campus there. The attention that those guys, when Pat and Travis and those guys get off the bus to do anything, it's like traveling with the Beatles. And so seeing them and being around all that and just the hype of a Super Bowl, you know, when that is it. Football season's over with for everybody else, college, pro, whatever. And you've got the total focus on your team and your abilities and all the stuff that goes into it. It was pretty amazing. We were able to go to 4, 3 of those your week-long trips. The last one kind of stunk at New Orleans last year, but really the elation whenever we won the game in Phoenix, like, it was as good as you ever get.
Yeah.
What was the coolest part that was not football related? Like, what's the thing that you're like, you can kind of humble brag to everybody, like, I got to do this, or I got to meet this person.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you're in the hall with, like, for example, Hunter Mintz comes down the hallway one day. And this is Don. Oh, Donnie Baseball. Don Mattingly. Hi, Don. And Jeter walks by one day. He's down doing Patrick's interview. Hey, Derek. Yeah. So just those kind of things. You got all the Hollywood people that you have come in there. But really the coolest thing is just being around the players in Kansas City. I mean, that's with like Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith and even Butker and Winchester and the guys who were there for the longest time. I mean, there's such a great quality of, like, the guys we have here, you know, Mizzou, Denario and J-Mac and all those guys. It's just like that with those people, and that's probably the coolest thing because everybody's going like, you know, did you meet Taylor Swift? Did you do these things? I said, well, I touched her back. Does that count? You know, so
you have not met Taylor Swift.
I have not said my name is Andy Taylor Swift. We were going to do that post game in Vegas, and Ludacris called Travis up on the stage. We were going up there.
Name dropping.
That is my all-time favorite rapper. So.
So he's doing his deal, and they called Travis up. We were going to go. Tobe and I were going to go meet Taylor, and then they called. He's like, yeah. So then she has like Czechoslovakian guards around her and stuff like that, and then they call her. She's like going that way too. And we said, hey, and that was about the.
Oh
closest.
man.
But really, Travis, a very generous. Pat Mahomes is exactly who you want him to be.
Yeah.
Just quality people that care about the janitors in the building and know everything about everybody. And really, that was the coolest part is Coach Reid and all the coaches that I got to coach with, and certainly the players was a special part of that.
That's always such a good feeling to hear that, to know that they are good people and it's a good organization and it's what you want it to be.
Sure.
We Coach Nagy, the offense coordinator, and I played on the ring ceremony the last time we won the Super Bowl. We played against Travis and Pat in a golf match, and we were beating them by 3 through hole 13, and we choked it all the way down. They beat us by one hole, so that was fun to play those guys. And it's you don't get to do that stuff very often.
Yeah. Well, her loss, she didn't get to meet the second longest serving assistant coach in Mizzou football history. So
and the definition of football
She's
success.
Still sulking over that.
Yes.
former head coach at Hutchinson Junior College, and who's not Sam Pittman. Yeah. Okay, where are we now?
You did a little bit of research on your football halftime show, your Super Bowl halftime
Yeah. So
shows.
can you name who played halftime at the 4 Super Bowls you coached in? Are you even aware when you're in the locker room of what's going on? Like the biggest concert in the world at the time?
No.
I'm always like wondering if that's a thing.
I do know that Kendrick Lamar played the last one, right?
Yep. It's one.
And the reason I know that is we have a highlight video every Friday, okay? Prior to 15, it starts at 8 o'clock every Friday,
Yeah.
or whatever Friday might be. A Monday night game,
Right.
it starts Saturday morning. So whatever termination Friday is, it's that Friday. And so our video guys always did a highlight from the week before of special team highlights, and really everybody. And so he, after about 2 weeks into that, he threw a Kendrick Lamar. And it's really me, Josh Schmidt, who's the guy that does it, and Pat Brazil is the head video guy at the Chiefs. It's just us three in there for about the first 10 minutes because the players start funneling in about 8:10 for an 8:15 meeting. So I was like, who is that? You could always have like the boys of fall, and you have all this stuff about football,
Right.
And they threw in the Kendrick Lamar deal. I was like, who's that? So he threw it in every single week because of that. I was like, here's this week's Kendrick Lamar highlight, and I said, this is bad luck. This guy's not that good. I didn't. Some of his music was good, but most of it, as he put in there, was probably his low end of his music.
Oh, okay.
Every Friday. So it turned out to be a bad omen. So that's the only
Yeah.
guy I really know. Who were the?
Okay, your
halftime
first,
guys?
the Tampa
Tampa.
Super Bowl was the weekend.
Okay, yeah, I should know that because my family liked that one.
Okay, I'm going to skip the next one because it's even a better story. The Vegas one was Usher.
Okay.
That was a solid performance. That was one of my favorites.
Phoenix, it was Phoenix, right? That was Rihanna.
Oh well.
And that was the second game you've coached in that she was the halftime act. Do you know the other one?
No.
The 2006 Sun Bowl in El Paso,
Rihanna
Texas.
was?
She
Yes.
was. She was not quite famous yet.
Well, the Sun Bowl. The only thing that the Sun Bowl was famous for was everybody in the Mizzou party. Well, I'd say 50% of the Mizzou party got sick as a dog.
Oh, I heard
and
that.
had the whatever flu going throughout the whole group of people, myself included. And I remember laying on the sideline at practice at UTEP going, it was not good.
Yeah.
And that's my only. I had to get my wife and family into a different room because everybody was sick.
Yeah.
That's my Super Bowl. And
Yeah.
Matt Moore, who was the quarterback at Oregon
right.
State, was at the Chiefs, and he rubbed in my nose in it a
Oh.
couple times when he was still there. So
That was really rough because I remember I was in the media and we voted Tony Temple the MVP, and then but the MVP only went to the winning team, and they had called him up to the stand, and then they realized, oh crap, we only give it to the winning team, and they had to tell Tony, sorry Tony, you're not the MVP.
yeah, we had that one in the bag and then messed that up late.
that was rough.
That was one of those learning experiences that actually helped us the next couple of years.
Pretty good
And
the
so-
next year.
Yeah, the next couple of years were pretty good
Yeah.
because probably that result.
Yeah, never know. All right, so that was my Rihanna little factoid.
Well,
Trivia.
Interesting.
Okay.
I had no clue. I should have known probably the Super Bowl win, but I had no clue for the Sun Bowl.
There you go. Okay.
All right, rapid fire.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. 5 quick questions. Which?
I want even.
Okay. All right. So first question. What is the best meal in Columbia? Not necessarily a restaurant, but the best meal. Your favorite meal.
Well, probably the steak at CC Brothers.
What cut?
I get the prime rib.
Okay.
Okay.
That usually people say filet.
Yeah. It's all right.
Okay.
Usually
Alrighty.
my wife gets the filet and I get to eat half of it anyway, so it
Yeah,
works out.
same. Yep.
All right. Best advice you've ever been given.
Dance with the one that brung you. Show up.
Okay. I like that.
Okay. This is a 2-parter. I don't even know if you're a music guy. What's the best concert you've been to, and like a bucket list concert?
Well, me and my best friend from high school, Scott Spillman, took a drive after my freshman year at Missouri all the way through Arizona and all the way around everything, and we found at the University of Colorado there were John Denver tickets at Red Rocks Amphitheater. They'd moved some speakers around, so we had 100 tickets left, so we were able to see John Denver in Denver, and we're able to drive home.
Wow.
That's really cool.
Also, my 1B would be Garth Brooks at the Kansas State Fair, because Hutchinson, Kansas is the home of the Kansas State Fair, and that was about 4 blocks from our house
There
when
you
we were
go.
living there. That was kind of cool. Bucket list? I don't know. Well, we got to see U2 at the Sphere this year in the
This guy.
at the Super Bowl, which was when we were at Super Bowl 2 years ago. That would be probably my bucket list, and that was one of the coolest too.
Okay.
That's very cool. All right. Beating Kansas in 2007
Yep.
at Arrowhead or winning the Super Bowl.
Best feeling at
Yeah.
the moment.
Which
Won the Super Bowl, but it's a close second. Kansas
okay.
was
Okay.
it was going to number 1. We knew whoever won that game was going to number 1. It's certainly my all-time favorite game at Missouri, and I would say that beating Nebraska in Nebraska was number 2, and then the Oklahoma game when they were number 1 in 2010 would be my
Yeah.
3rd favorite, if there is such a thing. But those are all subservient to the incomplete pass the Philadelphia Eagles threw when everybody won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got a good list, so that's pretty
He's like, if I
fortunate.
had to off the top of my head, these are the top 3.
Okay.
I've never thought about this.
I put this one together. 4th and goal, you need a touchdown. are you throwing to Rucker, Kaufman, or Kelsey?
Travis Kelsey. He's just more shifty than those two cats. But those guys are, I mean, when it came to T-Ruck and Chase, they're special, talented. Travis will probably be one of the best of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fair. Hope they're not listening.
I'm sure I'll receive
I think they'd
text
be okay
messages
with
very-
that.
very soon. Well, those guys, you talk about, when they showed up, their nostrils were flaring for competition.
Yeah.
Corby Jones is the first guy that I really remember. Like whenever the lights came on, he was a different cat.
Yeah.
And Rucker was in his prime. He was as tough as they get. And of course, Chase. I mean, nobody could cover the guy.
Right.
No.
You
Right.
know, it was really special.
Okay. What was your Corby Kansas State story? Is this the
Oh,
Jerry
yeah.
Burnt story?
Yeah.
I heard this on the sideline a couple weeks ago, but it's
okay.
worth resharing.
Yeah,
here. Well,
so-
from him.
So we're getting throttled at Kansas State in Manhattan. We'd run a certain play about 4 different times, and it got stuffed every single time. And I was a signaler, and so we'd go 0-8, 0-8.
Yeah.
That was the play call. And Corby stepped out of the huddle and said, "No." So I was like trying to get people out of the way. He can't see me, guys. Get out of my way. I'm like, 0-8. He's like, no.
Yeah, you're thinking he can't understand
he
what
can't.
you're saying. Yeah.
He goes, he calls timeout and walks over to the sideline. He said, "You telling our offensive coordinators in the booth, you tell Jerry we're not running that play anymore." I said he had a few other expletives in the middle of all that. And I said, "Jerry, you're going to need another play call. That's Corby's not going to run that play anymore." So I thought he couldn't see me, but Corby called his own timeout and said, "We are not running that play. I'm tired of getting my butt killed running around the edge over here." And they were really good on defense. So he was the only time I ever got shook off, like the catcher changed your signals. He's the only, I signaled for quite a few years, and he's the only guy that ever shook us off.
Well, yeah, he's an original.
Yeah.
That's for
That's
sure.
on brand.
The Corby veto.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Give him a choice here. Now you're special. Usually we give people maybe 2 choices for their photo.
Okay.
You got 3.
Oh boy.
So one is very recent.
Yes.
I'd go with the playing one.
Okay.
Well, you get to go.
You have to put it up,
Okay. All right.
but you got to be very careful because our board here it's getting
Baby push pin.
it's getting very full and heavy, and it's a little flimsy.
Well, I can't put over Bob Brindle or Karowski, so
You can cover others up.
Covered a little bit.
how about?
Cover up Dave.
You can cover up me. That's an old.
No,
That's
no,
a.
no, I'm not doing that.
Go
Can I go underneath some
Oh
guys?
sure.
Okay. I'll go under Keegan and Coach Smith. Keegan O'Toole, I was very fortunate to have some time with him at the Jefferson Club this spring.
Oh yeah.
And with J-Mac too, and that was kind of cool. How about that right there?
Wait, your face is all covered.
That's okay.
We'll adjust it.
My name, they can see my name, so how about that? Jeez.
I know. It's like the
Ready?
worst.
We worked extra hard to get these push pins going. There we go.
We need a new board. I got it.
Bigger board.
We need a bigger budget, and then we'll get the bigger board. All right, Coach. This was awesome. You were 1 in a million,
Yeah.
and
Well, I know it's just like beating the drum. There's probably a bunch of other people that you
No.
have in here that
no,
myself.
not at
You know
all.
what's great is we've talked about this quite frequently on here. Actually, is getting more alumni in. You know, and
Yeah.
get more former Mizzou people because everybody wants to know our employee stories in Mizzou, and that's super cool to get to know. But it's people want to know more about people that they've seen and heard and watched play, and you have a really cool story.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, really my connector to from Trenton to Mizzou to Kansas City Chiefs, even trying out there,
Yeah.
has all been pretty much in the state of Missouri, obviously. Other than the 4 years at Kansas, where I had to hold my breath for 4 years. But it was, it couldn't be any better where you crescendo into Super Bowl winning team that you followed, loved, all those things, and had, I think when I left here, even through Mizzou, when I left here, I think we'd been to, Chad Muller can tell you better than I can, but 30 some years of bowls, and I had been to either the players or coach been to half of those.
Yeah.
Wow.
When I left, so that was, and then of course they've gone to 3 or 4 more since then. But that was, it's certainly to take pride in that. But I was very fortunate to be in the right spot with these guys and these players and coaches. So it's very fortunate.
Absolutely. It's a
Well,
great story.
Thanks for joining us, Coach.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks. I almost called you Robert. Thanks, Andy.
It's all good if you do.
All right.
I've been in medical field the last couple of days answering questions because I had some others. I had sinus surgery about a month ago, so I hear Robert quite a bit. Is this Robert Hill? Yes, it is. Here's the medicine you got coming your way.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
This episode of Mizzou Storytellers on the Inside Mizzou Athletics podcast is brought to you by Shelter Insurance. Ranked number 1 in customer satisfaction for auto insurance in the Central Region by J.D. Power 5 out of the last 6 years. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Robert Andrew Hill,
What a guy.
Andy Hill.
I could listen to
guy.
his stories
Oh, he's the best.
all day.
He started telling stories before we hit record and like, save it for the podcast, coach.
Oh, man.
And then after the podcast, he started telling stories.
He's the only person I think that I know now that drops names and facts more than you.
Oh, come on. Well, I don't know Travis Kelce or Pat Mahomes or Sheryl Crow, as we found out after the.
Oh my gosh. And his Super Bowl rings, I was trying to be nice. They're way cooler than your Cotton Bowl ring.
Yeah, they should be. I've worn one.
Have you seen it?
I've worn one.
Same. And the one that it like opens up,
Yes.
crazy.
Yeah, those are.
I don't feel
nuts.
like there are limits on what they can spend on those like there are in the NCAA.
Yeah, I had one quick Andy story that I didn't want to share with him because I'm still embarrassed about it. So my first year covering Mizzou was the 2000 season when Coach Smith's staff got fired, and my editor was like, we have all the home numbers for the coaches because they didn't. I don't know if they had cell phones in
Right.
2000. They probably did, but call and just talk to him. Okay. So I call Andy Hill at home, and I think he knew of me, and a super nice guy, obviously. And I made the mistake of saying, "Hi, Andy, this is Dave Matter. How are you doing?" And he goes, "Well, we all just got fired. How do you think we're doing?"
Yes.
So I learned and I've since, later years I had to talk to coaches that were in a similar situation. I always knew, don't ask how they're doing.
No. No.
It's like you don't ask that at a funeral. How are you doing?
How are you doing?
Yeah.
Well, I've been better.
But he very politely, answered the question. And what was a great interview. And then, of course, he got to stick around, which was great. I think Gary Pinkel's version of the story was when he was deciding on what to do with the staff, he's said many times that everybody was telling him, hey, whatever you do, you have to keep Andy Hill.
Yeah.
And he's like, who's this Andy Hill guy? And then he asked around, and he's like, well, everybody in Columbia is telling me we need to keep him. And obviously we know why, because of who he is. Great
Yeah, just
coach,
such
but
yes.
incredible person, great leader.
Phenomenal
Yeah.
guy. And that just such a cool story.
Oh, yeah.
Like so different from any other coach, especially that's coached at a high level. Usually, we've talked about this before. You go straight from college to a GA position or an assistant coaching position. He's like, I'm gonna hunt and work 3 other jobs.
Yeah. Have you ever heard, Loretta, of the University of Missouri Intercollegiate Athletics Hall of Fame?
I'm somewhat familiar with it.
I think Mr. Hill would be a fine nominee someday.
I think so. I'll have to speak to the people in charge of that.
Yeah, well, let's
See if we can
remember
get him
that.
on the ballot.
Let's remember that. Bearing the lead here, we're sitting with the employee of the quarter for Mizzou Athletics, not Steve Sowers.
Not Steve Sowers. Thank you.
Loretta.
Thank you.
Now, we call it Employee of the Month, but we only give them out once every 4 years.
Herb
four
Hunt
times a year.
Employee of the month.
Herb Hunt Employee of the Month. But we don't give out 12 a year.
No, we
so
don't.
it's not really a monthly award. It's more like a quarterly award. So congratulations.
Yep.
Congrats.
Laird said that we could officially call it Employee of the Quarter.
Oh, he did?
Mhm.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
at least me.
Okay. Well, congratulations.
Thank
Well
you.
earned.
Thank you.
I should.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. Very
You
cool.
always feel kind of weird. Like, I have 0 problems with crowds and speaking in front of people and being around people, but it is somewhat uncomfortable. And
Were you surprised? You didn't know?
100% no.
You didn't notice that I turned around. I was taking your picture before it was announced.
I don't. You're always on your phone. I don't know what you were doing.
Holding it up though.
But I was like, but I'm not looking at you. I'm looking straight ahead.
I know. Well, okay.
We weren't sitting next to
We
each
weren't.
other.
Intentionally, because I didn't want to give it away. I would have tapped her and be like, "Pay attention."
Which
This
is
part's
really funny
important."
because I'm pretty sure one of the people that I was sitting directly next to had a pretty good idea too. So
Oh, really? No spoilers.
no, he
Were
didn't.
there? Okay.
He didn't tell me at all.
Awesome. Well,
Loretta, I think you should just call yourself a 3-time employee of the month, not quarterly employee of the month. A 3-time employee of the month.
I love that.
and you should, whoever gets it at the next all staff meeting, you should have like a crown and you take it off and you hand it to them.
Hand it over. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Whoever that may be. Ryan Cullinane or, a Toby Lau.
Okay.
Um,
Josh Maxson.
Josh Maxson. He's just got here. He's not eligible yet.
Oh, that's true. I think it's 6 months or a year.
Oh, I have no
don't
idea.
know.
I don't know if there are rules.
There can't. They said like the campus ones, like the campus like employee recognition things.
Yeah.
there are.
Yeah, those are different.
Well, thanks, guys.
Well, it's been a busy couple weeks since we last had a podcast with Coach Nutt. By the way, the next day after we recorded with Coach Nutt, I saw him out to dinner, and he was still riding high off of that episode. He was so excited. He was at dinner with 3 friends, and he told them all about, I was just on a podcast with this guy, and he loved it.
And he talks about all his players being good dudes. Coach Hill does. Like, we only have good people on here.
That's right.
We only
That's
hear
right.
good stories. But yeah, we've had quite a lot going on and quite a lot more coming up.
How about that Auburn game?
Ooh, we watched it together.
We did.
We were.
Watched it. We had a little watch party at the Joneses' house,
Mm-hmm.
and
We had a few other people over, and it was only the Matters and the Joneses to.
So
to
Mizzou
end
is
the night.
undefeated when we watched the road game at your house. So
Correct.
what are we doing Saturday at 2:30?
Ooh, we should watch it at my house. That's a great idea. Please come back.
Okay.
Yeah, you should come back.
Okay.
Enjoyed hanging out with you, Nurse Molly. I think Will had a blast with the kids. Dave talked this big game that Will's going to want to watch the game with us, and I think we saw Will for a grand total of
He
like
had his
15
eye on
minutes.
it a lot, though. Like he never didn't know the score.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I think he was torn because he's used to just sitting down and everybody watching it. My kids could not care less about a football
I'm not
game.
sure they knew it was on.
No, they didn't know why. They just knew their friends were coming over. They didn't know it was so that the parents could also watch a football game.
Right. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love and hate that about my kids. So
Well,
it's,
I mean, hey.
I'm not breeding new little emotional wrecks, because of becoming attached to one team and their whole season depends on the success of a bunch of young men.
It was a good time. My favorite part of the game, besides winning, was at overtime at the coin toss, and in real time we heard Zion Young,
We did.
and I was like, "Wait, what did he just say?"
He sure did.
We rewound. Oh, he sure did.
In the stadium on the mic.
I think that won the game for us.
I thought you were going to say your favorite part of the game was when Dave Jones did what he does every Mizzou football game because he was not one of those children shielded from becoming attached to
He was
a
not a
team.
believer in the
He was
fourth
not
quarter.
a believer at all. Dave and
Yeah.
I are in our basement.
Oh,
We're
yeah,
ready.
we're
We're here.
Fists up,
Fists
going into the
up.
fourth
We
quarter.
were ready. And he was like, "It's over." And I was like, "You can go upstairs."
I ended up going to the game, and I missed all the Zion Young stuff, and I was.
Where were you?
Because at any break in the game, I was just pulling my hair out. I was just, I live it every single second. So
It was weird not being there since we had 6 straight home games.
It was very strange, and
Yeah.
it was amazing at the same time. I got so much done at my house.
I mean, I guess because I was
I did.
I was at the bowl game, and then the last regular season game was at Arkansas,
Mhm.
the home. So that'd been 8 straight. It's been a while since I've.
Do you like how he
to watch
flexed again
commercials?
that he
No, I
went
was
to
trying
the
to-
Super Bowl game?
that ring.
It wasn't like the Super Bowl. It was the Music City Bowl, which was great when we won that one.
You
But
know
no,
what's-
it had been a while.
You know what's also cool is I think what people don't realize when we have that many home games in a row and we're doing all that, and there was a bye week in there. So this is the
Yeah.
first road game. Not only did I get to clean my house, which I loved, I got to
Was
watch
very
so many
clean.
other games.
Yeah,
You
that's
get to
true.
watch other teams and you get to watch it uninterrupted. You can flip back and forth,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not just catching scores here and there while you're prepping for your own game. You got to enjoy the day.
Mm-hmm. So earlier in the day, we're not going to give away the big spoiler here. Earlier in the day, I was taking a walk in our neighborhood, and everybody knows now what neighborhood we live in, so I don't even need to say it. And I was thinking about what's something special we could do for one of our final home games. And an idea popped in my head, and I was right near your kind of cul-de-sacs. I'm like, I'm going to text Loretta
You
and see
should
if
have
this
just
is.
popped into
I
the
know.
house.
Let's see. Well, I assumed you were cleaning.
I was.
Because you were having guests over, not. Anyway, so I texted you, and you're like, great idea. And then you reached out to this person, and it's going to happen.
It was immediate.
And it's awesome. So it's going to be
It's going to be very, very cool.
we cannot say any more.
It was serendipitous, and
We don't want to jinx it.
it's going to be perfect.
Yeah. So stay tuned. Yeah.
Yes. Also, huge announcement came yesterday.
Yeah.
Mizzou Gymnastics is moving
Yes.
to Mizzou Arena.
On the move.
So cool.
Moving down the street a little bit. Yeah, so we have 6 home meets this year. 5 of them are going to be in Mizzou Arena. The final one of the year, it's a little scheduling conflict, but we're going to go back to this building, Hearns. It's going to be a throwback meet. We're going to throw it all the way back to last season.
Yeah.
And no, it's really cool. I mean, it's a great statement for the program.
You literally said throwback. Like the last time gymnastics played, there was literally this calendar year, 2025.
Throwback to March
So
2025.
in the future, it'll be a throwback. Yeah.
So it's really great. I mean, Coach Welker, what the program has done over time, but especially last season, finishing 3rd in the country. Just a great time to elevate. Nothing wrong with this building, but put it on a little bit different stage. Some different opportunities, some premium opportunities, which are going to be great.
Yes, and seeing them in there with the Beauty and the Beast event that you guys did last year.
Yeah.
And I say you guys because you are now their sport administrator.
That's right.
Yes. But it was really cool. It was a different experience, and it was nice.
Yeah.
So
I got to be in the room when Laird told the gymnast a couple weeks ago, and they had heard some rumblings, but it hadn't been told to them yet, and they were fired up. I mean, again, nothing against competing in Hearns because that's all they really know, except for maybe a time or two over at the arena. But for that to be, the new home facility is going to be really cool. Yeah. So that was our big news. What else do we have? Game day this weekend.
Game day. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not really it's not really our show though.
No, but it's because game day's going not
Yeah.
just because of Andy.
Well, yeah, it's not.
It's because
it's a big time game. I'm guessing that they're going to be talking a lot about Andy.
Well, I mean, probably because they're there.
Yeah,
But
a little rat poison for the Commodores. We'll see how they handle all that attention.
I thought it was interesting that they chose on campus in Nashville. I'm sure they had the options of like Broadway.
I think that. I'd heard that
Park
was
and
the
stuff like
initial
that
kind
and
of some
stuff, so, like-
thoughts of having it, on Broadway.
So
Do you think that would just be too chaotic? Like it's tough to.
there's
It'd be a
probably
little-
lot of bachelorette parties there. This weekend
Yeah,
and
it'd be a
stuff,
little too Nashville and not really Vandy.
No, that's very true. It doesn't even have to be a
Nothing
weekend
against
for there to be a lot of
bachelorette
bachelorette parties. It could be a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Like
that
for the Tootsies there, or wherever. Yeah.
yes. But I know we have a lot of fans going. Some
you-
people from my
Well,
office.
I was gonna ask if you're going, but we already made
No.
plans to.
Yeah,
Are
we
you
made
going,
plans.
Producer Steve?
Yeah, we're going. Yeah, we're taking some clients there and stuff like that. So
Will Matter wants to go, and I made the mistake of saying out loud, "Should we go?" And he's like, "Can we?" I'm like, wait, no, we're not going. We got
Way
some
to
other stuff
go,
this
Dave.
weekend. Well, we've got the big exhibition game late Friday night.
Yes.
Men's basketball against Kansas State.
That would be very cool. Fun Loretta fact. One of the assistant coaches at K-State used to coach with me at Avila University in Kansas City.
Coach,
So,
he didn't coach volleyball though, right?
No, he sure didn't. He coached men's basketball.
That's quite a transition.
He coached men's basketball. So I haven't seen him in a couple of years. So I'm
Are
excited.
you, are you going to that game?
Maybe for a hot minute. That is past my bedtime.
I'm gonna need some coffee.
I don't
Stay
do
up for that one.
caffeine, so
I know you don't. Well,
maybe I'll watch it on TV at my house because that seems to bring teams the most success.
it is on TV. It's on SEC Network.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because it's right after the volleyball game.
That's
which
right.
is at 6:00. We have
In,
South
in this
Carolina.
building,
In this building. That game I will be at.
crossover season is here.
sure is.
It is alive
Man,
and well.
how are we gonna find time to podcast?
I don't know. I asked Steve earlier. I said, hey, I gave him a date and said we need to plan on recording. He goes, the same day as a basketball game? We have to learn to multitask, Steve.
Oh, we are. Trust me. That's adding a whole other multitasking thing to another whole multitasking thing. But we'll figure it out. We always find a way.
I
We
cannot
always
believe
find a way.
Andy Hill didn't remember that Rihanna was the halftime show at the 2006 Sun Bowl.
Insane. That should have been a core memory.
It's a legendary performance.
I
like
almost
that
got to-
always has to be remembered.
I
doesn't
can't.
it?
We don't have time because I have to go to a budget meeting. But I did almost get to meet her at the media hotel the night before the game, but she didn't want to hang out with a bunch of sports writers. Shockingly,
What?
yeah.
Those are
I mean,
some of
come
the
on.
coolest
Also, this is
dudes at the game.
2006 Rihanna. This is not 2025 Rihanna.
2006. Was she? Was it raining outside? Was she under her
I don't even know how old she was.
umbrella?
Yeah,
Ella.
I think
Think
she's.
of the song.
I
was-
think
what
that
was the
song
time
had
frame
just
was?
come out because she was kind of famous. She was like famous enough to do
Oh,
the
Pond de
2006
Replay. I think that was the first Pond de
Replay.
Replay.
the
Yeah.
brute. It was actually, other than the ending of the game, it was a great
Pond de
well, and the food poisoning, but And I think all the flights got shut down in El Paso. So, but
What an experience.
it was the Brute Sun Bowl, the cologne.
Oh,
So all the media
nice.
got Brute.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
you
I
have-
think I still have my bottle.
But was this long enough ago? Was this pre Molly Matter? Was this single Dave Matter?
No, we were
just-
dating. We
Oh.
were engaged.
Oh,
we had just
okay.
gotten engaged. We got engaged December 13th, 2005. So we were just getting married. We were getting married in a month. Sorry.
We were dating. No, we were engaged. No,
Well,
we were married.
When you
Wait,
get,
wait.
when's your anniversary?
Mine?
Yeah.
June 28th, 2014.
Yours?
June 5th,
Okay, so,
2010.
so ours was a January. So the years sometimes because
That
you're
is insane
right on the cusp.
for me. Like anybody I know that's involved in sports, like you only get married in the summer.
Well, we didn't.
I
We
obviously
got married in an ice storm in Columbia.
Okay.
And guess who got up from his seat at the Mizzou K-State basketball game to come down to the field and get pictures with the wedding party in front of the Furrow statue? Because he knew it was all Mizzou fans and my Gary R. Pinkle.
No way.
He did, yeah. We still have the picture hanging up
Aw, that's so
on
cool.
our stairs, yeah. You can come over and see it when we watch the Oklahoma game.
Okay. We can do that.
The families come over.
Okay.
We're gonna have to start cleaning the house though. Or maybe we shouldn't break our streak if when the Tigers win Saturday and we're at your house.
We just keep it at my house.
Okay.
I'm game.
All right. Have Dave make those ribs again.
Okay.
And the wings.
Hey Dave, did you know that Socket Fiber is now available? Crazy, I know. Socket Fiber, the fastest, most reliable internet combined with local service and simple billing. Contact Socket today for voice, data, and internet services for your home and business. 1-800-SOCKET-3 or visit socket.net.
I did know that. We're gonna get fired from the ad reads.
I think
to
Steve
do
liked
that.
that one.
Did he?
Hey, that's what powers this podcast, and it needs to be said.
Well, if you're watching this on YouTube, and we know they are because we see the metrics and they're through the roof, you can see behind us a big sign, which will also remind you that we are brought to you by Shelter Insurance, ranked #1 in customer satisfaction for auto insurance in the Central Region by J.D. Power. 7 out of the last 8 years. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Love it. Love it. Steve's never getting to read these ever again.
We don't even need to read them. We
great.
have them memorized, right? Okay, so big football game. Before that, volleyball. We've got, what else? I've got a
Exhibition basketball.
field trip to the Capitol tomorrow with Will Matters class. So
What grade is he in?
3rd.
Oh, that's the best. I
Yeah.
did both of those with my kids.
Yeah.
I love
There's
that
8
stuff.
parents going. I'm the only dad. So I'm going to be the cool dad, the chaperone.
That's Brian Milner was the dad that went with our kids
Oh, yeah.
last year because he works down there, so he was able to.
So
walk them
I
through.
volunteered. I'm like, I know some people and some reps and senators I can introduce. Molly's like, you don't have to do that. You don't have to play that where you have to name drop. I'm like, I'm just trying to
Oh,
educate
so you do
the
this
children.
at home too?
No, I thought I'd just, Senator Gregory,
Oh yeah.
a few others that I'm friendly with, of course, but we'll see.
All right, you'll have to keep us posted. We'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Okay, who's our guest next week?
TBD. 2 weeks though, we're set.
Okay, well, we need to make sure TBD's available. Okay. Loretta, our best Mizzou memories have yet to happen. This is Mizzou Storytellers.
I'm Loretta Jones.
I'm Dave Matter.
and we'll talk to you next week.